Hey guys, Tom here from Metalloud, and it's time for a 1 year later review, the first of 2016. So we're going to be looking at the album from Runaway Brother called Mother. So my original review, I praised this album for them being able to kind of create these melodies and harmonies out of just what times can be like absolute chaos. And between all the random breakdowns during the songs and the tempo changes and the style changes, they just have this real knack for taking chaotic indie rock and just turning it into something that is memorable and enjoyable. And they released a lot of EPs previous to this, some songs, and I feel like Mother was really them kind of coming into their own. And it's something that really is not seen a lot in indie rock these days. They really have their own style and way of doing things that's, not quite pure just indie rock. It's not emo, it's not pop punk. It's kind of just mixes everything together, and just you get these great tracks on this album. You get the ones that are just energetic and upbeat, and yet they're sarcastic and kind of dark, and they're going to make you want to destroy things and go cry in a corner, but at the same time they're going to make you want to dance too. So they just really have this knack for just throwing all of this into their music, and it really shows on Mother, their debut actual full-length album. And all of this culminates into the catchiest tunes in indie rock today. And I mean, a year later, and I'm still jamming out to a lot of these tracks on here, like Moth in particular and Reprise are probably my two favorite tracks off of this. And it's just that the change-ups throughout this album really kind of keep you on your toes and keep the album feeling fresh and unique even after, a long period of time. I mean, for instance, the opening track right off the bat called Harvest starts off very kind of slow and very really kind of dreamy in a way, and then it just breaks out into this like explosion of awesome indie rock, and it just takes you on a ride. And that's how they start off this album, and it's kind of a really good idea to do that, because it really sets the tone for this album. And that's part of why it just stands out, is just the fact that they're always kind of doing something different on every song, and even within the songs themselves, nothing really. You start listening to one song and then you skip 30 seconds into it, and it sounds like a completely different song, but yet it still sounds like the same song. They really have a way to do that I haven't seen. And I know I've made this comparison before, and I'm sure they're tired of hearing it, but it really is something I've only ever seen the band Say Anything kind of do. I don't really see this from many other bands, at least not done to the degree or with the ability that Runaway Brother and Say Anything can do it. And I know, again, I'm making that comparison, and I've made that comparison, but one of the things I do like about Mother is it doesn't feel like a carbon copy of Say Anything, where that's one of the things I liked about this band that really drew me to this band, because Say Anything is one of my favorite bands of all time. And with their initial EPs and stuff, that's really what kind of drew me to them. Is it sounded like something straight out of Is a Real Boy in that era, but with, obviously different vocals and things like that. But I think Mother really kind of separates Runaway Brother. And again, there's going to be the comparison. It's inevitable, because their sounds are similar. And that's a good thing. That's what drew me to this band. But I really think that Mother is where Runaway Brother kind of really come into their own, as I said, where you feel like they're not just trying to make Say Anything songs. And I'm sure they weren't never in the past, but again, that's kind of how it felt when listening to them. But Mother really is unique in its own way, and for that, it's fantastic, and it works. And again, it's something that really kind of holds up over the time. And again, I'm still listening to this album in general, but a lot of these songs still kind of find their way on my playlist and things like that, which is how I generally rate an album as far as how well it stuck with me. If I'm still putting it on my playlist, particularly my driving playlist, which is where I listen to most of my music, that's kind of a big thing for me. that's hard because I don't like having a lot of songs on my playlist because I don't like skipping through things a lot. So the fact that they still wind up on there is a very good example of why this album is just that good. So like I said, Runaway Brother really kind of captured me because they just had these awesome upbeat but yet sarcastic songs off their EPs and things like that, and just Mother takes it to a whole nother degree. And for that, it is just a fantastic album that's full of just this catchy, melodic, and chaotic indie rock music. And it really hasn't lost anything over time. I still think it's as strong of an album now that it was when I first listened to it and absolutely loved listening to it. So this is an album that really does hold up over time. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching my video on Runaway Brother after a year. Let me know down below in the comments what you thought of this album. Have you listened to it since it came out? Do you still like this album? What do you think? As always, I love to hear from you guys. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more.